Hey guys, it's Miss Nelson here. Today I'm going to read you a story, and I thought that this story might be kind of perfect because today's been kind of a dreary and rainy day. I think it's a little better outside right now. It's not raining quite as much, but it's been raining out there. But as we're reading this story, which is going to be The Rain Came Down. Now, this story is by David Shannon, and a lot of you probably remember him from a book that we've definitely read, which the first name gives a hint. David. No, David. David Shannon wrote that, and he also wrote this, which is The Rain Came Down. Now, as we're reading, I want you to be listening to the different ways that the author, who the author is, David Shannon, how he uses words to tell us how a character in the story says something instead of just saying the word said, okay? So I want you to listen to other words that he uses instead of said. Now, before we start, I want you to listen to how I read a silly word, okay? So just listen to how I'm reading this silly word. Now, the silly word is going to be itsy bitsy ditsy do. Okay, so itsy bitsy ditsy do. Did I just say that word? Did I just say itsy bitsy ditsy do? No, how? What did I do with that word? Did I shout it or yelled it? Okay, those are two other words instead of just saying said that you could use when you're doing your writing. We don't always just say things. Sometimes we shout them or we yell them. We're going to try another one. I want you to listen. It's the same word again. And I want you to try to guess what I'm doing when I'm saying these words. Okay? We're not just going to we're not going to just say said. Okay? How am I saying these words? Itsy bitsy ditsy do. Could you guess that one? Did you guess what I was doing with that one? I cried. I cried, itsy bitsy ditsy do. Okay, what about this one? Itsy bitsy ditsy do. What did I do that time? I whispered itsy bitsy ditsy do. Okay, we'll do two more. How about this one? Itsy bitsy ditsy do. What did I do with that one? I whined it. Have you ever whined something before? You didn't just say it, you might have whined a little bit. That's what I was doing with that one. And one more. Itsy bitsy ditsy do. That one's a little more difficult. It's a little trickier. I gasped. I gasped. Itsy bitsy ditsy do. Those are just some of the ways that some of the words that you can use instead of just saying said. And what we call this is put said to bed. We want to put said to bed. It's okay to use it sometimes, but if every time when you're writing you say said, that can be kind of boring. And it can just be kind of repetitive. And sometimes you don't just say things. I don't always just say things. I say them with emotion. I whisper things. I sing things. I moan things. I grumble things. Those are all different ways to say said. All right. So when we're reading this story, The Rain Came Down, and it was by David Shannon, I want you guys to be thinking and listening really hard as to when David Shannon uses different words other than said. He will say, it does say said in the book, but there's going to be some different words too, and I want you guys to be really listening. The rain came down. On Saturday morning, the rain came down. It made the chickens squawk. The cat yelled at the chickens and the dog barked at the cat. And still the rain came down. The man yelled at the dog and woke up the baby. "Stop all that yelling," shouted the man's wife. The dog barked louder, and still the rain came down. And if you see, I have a little sticky note up here because the man's wife didn't just say, "Stop all that yelling." She shouted it. She said, "Stop all that yelling," she shouted. A policeman heard the noise and stopped to see what was wrong. His car was blocking traffic, and half a block away, a woman squirmed in the back of a taxi. So he's holding up some traffic. "Hurry up or I'll miss my plane," she told the taxi driver. So he started honking his horn. The truck driver in front of him got mad and started honking back. "I have tomatoes to deliver," he shouted. There's another, he shouted. The ice cream man heard the honking and turned up the music on his van. Jingle-a-jingle went his music, slappity-slap went his windshield wipers, and still the rain came down. The owner of the beauty parlor came out to see what all the fuss was about. She bumped into the barber coming out of his barber shop, and they began to argue. Up on his ladder, the painter grumbled. "I can't paint in the rain." He started to climb down and bonked the barber in the head with his can of paint. Now, all three of them were arguing. So the painter didn't say, he grumbled. Next, the baker stepped out of his bakery. "My roof is leaking and my cakes are getting wet," he moaned. He opened his umbrella and poked the pizza man in the nose. So they joined in the bickering too. So the baker moaned. A boy ran by chasing a small boat down the stream in the gutter. He splashed a little girl. She began to cry. And still the rain came down. The grocery man stomped out onto the sidewalk and yelled, "Where's that delivery truck? I need my tomatoes." He ran into a lady coming out of the clothing store and knocked her boxes into his fruit stand. So the grocer man yelled. Oranges, apples, and lemons bounced down the sidewalk, and still the rain came down. The policeman walked back to his car. "What is all this ruckus about?" he asked. The whole block was honking, yelling, bickering, and barking. And then the rain stopped, and so did the noise. The sun came out, and the air smelled fresh and sweet. Everything shimmered, and a rainbow stretched across the rooftops. Do you see the rainbow? "It's much too nice a day to be arguing," said the baker. "I have cakes to bake." "And I have pizzas to make," said the pizza man. "I could use a shave while my building dries," said the painter to the barber. Then they went inside. The policeman said, "Everything looks A-okay here to me," and he drove off in his car. The woman The taxi decided she had time to have her hair done before her trip, and she went into the beauty parlor. So the lady with the boxes got into the taxi and went home. The truck driver told the grocer, "I have your tomatoes." "Wonderful," said the grocer, "but first I have to pick up this fruit." The little girl and boy helped him, so he bought them ice cream cones, and the ice cream man gave them each an extra scoop because it was such a nice day. Then the man, his wife, and their baby had a picnic together in the backyard, while the dog, the cat, and the chickens slept in the warm afternoon sun. And that is the end of The Rain Came Down. So everyone wasn't quite so happy when the rain was coming down. But then whenever it turned out to be a beautiful day and the rainbow came out, then they had a much better day. And I hope that you were listening to all of those words that we used instead of said. So that way, hopefully, you can use some of those. Because remember, we want to put said to bed. We don't want to use said every time we say anything. Now, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I am going to have a Zoom meeting, okay? And I'm going to post the link so that way your parents can see it and you guys can join. And we're going to play a put said to bed game. And I also want you to be thinking, were there any words that maybe I didn't say, or even words that I did say, that you could use instead of the word said when someone is trying to express something? So I want you to be thinking of those words. And also, again, we'll play a game tomorrow, okay? So at 1 o'clock, be on Zoom if you can. All right? Bye for now.